Hello everyone, welcome to Priyan classes. Till now I have been uploading my videos for 11th class, but now on demand of some of the viewers. Today I am starting with one of the chapters of class 10th. As the board exams are approaching, so most of you must have finished at least 50%, or even some of you must have finished the whole syllabus, but there are some topics which are worth discussing on this platform. So I'm starting with the chapter coordinate geometry. In this chapter, just keep on watching this video till the last part, where in the last part I shall explain to you, I will give you some specific ways how to present your answer, how to produce your answer on the answer sheet so that you can score good marks. So, without wasting time, let's start the class. Before I start, now let me tell you what do we mean by coordinates. Coordinates are the points. You must have been plotting graphs like this. You must have seen graphs. There are two axes in a plane graph. This is called the x-axis, and this is called the y-axis. And you know, for the x-axis, this is the positive sign, positive side. So all the numbers on this are they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will be going on. Okay, and then for similarly on the negative side, numbers are placed like this, as it is just a number line in a horizontal way that you have been studying from very beginning. Similarly, the y-axis is a vertical line. The upper side is the positive side and the lower side is the negative side. That means once again the numbers will be like this, and in the negative side it will be like this. Okay, so this is what a coordinate axis. It is a set of coordinate axes. Now, how do we represent a point? Any point on this, suppose that this is a point P. Okay, if it is a point P and it is represented by two numbers like A, B, we always say P and write the address of P where this point P is lying. Now, what does this address define? This address is defined, it is saying that the distance of P from the y-axis. Like if I draw a perpendicular line from P on the x-axis, the point where it falls, take this point as point A. Okay, and what is the distance of this point, or at what point this point A is lying on the x-axis? In other words, I can say what is a distance of A, this point A from y-axis, because whatever distance it will be traveling on x-axis, that the distance will be increasing from y-axis. So its distance from y-axis is equal to A. This is the length of this. Similarly, when I draw a perpendicular on the y-axis from the same point P, let this point be B, capital B. Okay, so this point is what? This is how much distance I have traveled on y-axis. When I am traveling along with y-axis, that means I am going away from x-axis. Okay, traveling along y-axis, traveling along x-axis meant that I am traveling away from y-axis. Similarly, traveling along y-axis means I am traveling away from x-axis. So distance of this point P from x-axis, this distance is B. So if I know what is the distance from x-axis and what is the distance from y-axis, I can say where this point will be lying, and this is the address of the point A, B. Okay, so this is what coordinates are, the basic meaning. What do we mean the coordinates? Now, what do we say? There are another thing. This is what A is, as I told, distance of point P from y-axis. The same point, this A is also called x coordinate. Okay, it has got another name also. It is also called abscissa. This is the specific name given to it, that it is called abscissa. Similarly, what about B? B, it is distance of point P from x-axis. This is distance of point P from x-axis, this distance, because it becomes a rectangle. So this will also be A and this will be B. So distance from x-axis, and this is called y coordinate, or the same is also called ordinate. Okay, so for address of each point you should be having x coordinate and y coordinate, or abscissa and ordinate. Okay, so this is how to find the address of a point on the coordinate system. Now, before going further, because the next part will be how to find out the distance between two given points. Before that, I need to recall, make a recall of Pythagoras theorem. You must have studied what is Pythagoras theorem. Most of you must be having knowledge. Still, I would like to make a recall of this. Pythagoras theorem is meant for a right angled triangle. Okay, it is meant for a right angled triangle. Suppose that this is a right angled triangle ABC, where this angle C is equal to 90 degree. Then in that case, you have got one, this is called base, this is called perpendicular, and this is called hypotenuse. Okay, represented base by B, perpendicular by P, and hypotenuse by H. And you know what Pythagoras theorem says? It says that H square is equal to B square plus P square. I will be using this in finding out the distance between two given points. Okay, so this was just a brief recall of this. Now I will directly go to the distance formula. Now, why we are saying this as a distance formula? Because the formula will be giving you the direct way to find out the distance between two given points. Suppose that I have got on this, this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and now on this I get one point P whose coordinates are x1, y1. Okay, I have got another point Q whose coordinates are x2, y2. Okay. Now, as I said, both points have got two coordinates. So I have to find out the distance between P and Q, that is the length of PQ. How will I get it? Just draw perpendicular on x-axis. Okay. So what this point will be? This point will be x1 and this point will be x2. Okay. This point will be x2. Similarly, I will draw perpendiculars on y-axis also. So this point will be y1 and this point will be y2. Why I am writing this? Because when this coordinates of this point P is x1, y1, that means the point P is x1 distance away from the origin or from the y-axis. Similarly, Q is x2 distance away from y-axis or from the origin. Similarly, this side also, this point is y1 and this point is y2. And what will be the distance between them? If I extend this, to say R, if this point is R. Okay. Now, what will be PR equal to? What will be PR equal to? PR is, now you see, this is also perpendicular, this is also perpendicular, so I have got this also is right angle, this is also right angle, this is also right angle, this is also right angle. So obviously, this becomes a rectangle. If it is rectangle, then the distance between these 2 points, will be equal to PR. Will be same as PR. What is the distance between these 2 points? This total distance is x2. This distance is x. So this will be, the total distance is up to this point is x2 and this much distance is x1. So the difference will be the distance between these two. So this will be x2 minus x1. Okay. I think you must have understood how PR is equal to x2 minus x1. Similarly, what will be QR? Again, on the same way, this total distance is y2, this much distance is y1, and now this thing, again it becomes a rectangle. So this distance will be same as QR. Okay, so QR is equal to y2 minus y1. So QR will be equal to y2 minus y1. Okay, I have to find out PQ. So this angle is 90 degree. Now triangle PRQ is a right angle triangle. Okay, where this will be base, this will be perpendicular, and this PQ will become the hypotenuse. So by using Pythagoras theorem, what I get is PQ square is equal to PR square plus QR square. Okay. So what is this? PR. PR is x2 minus x1 square plus, what is QR? As I have told, that y2 minus y1, so square. This is equal to PQ square. Right? So what will be PQ now? PQ will be square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, and this is called the distance formula, or the formula to find out the distance between any two given points. Okay, so this is the distance formula. Now what will happen when one of the points or both the points are on x-axis only? What does it define? Okay, now let's see some specific results on this. Now what happens when the points are on x-axis? What does this mean? If the points are on x-axis, that means what is the distance of that point from x-axis? 0. Okay, so the distance of that point from x-axis is 0. So what will be y coordinate? Y coordinate will be 0. So obviously the points will be, if this is point P and if this is point Q, okay, if this is point P and this is point Q, obviously for both of them the y coordinate will be 0. So it will be x1 0 and its coordinate will be x2 0. Okay, so this will be x1 0 and this will be x2 0. Now using the same distance formula, what I get? PQ equal to, as I said, it will be square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1. Here you see both y1 is equal to 0 and y2 is also equal to 0. So it will be y2 minus y1 square, or I can say it as x2 minus x1 square minus 0 square. So it will become 0. It is of no use. So it is square root of x2 minus x1 square. What does it mean? PQ is equal to x2 minus x1. Okay. Similarly, you will be getting, if the points are on y-axis, again, if the points are on y-axis, that means points are on y-axis, so the x coordinate will be 0. In this case, if the points are on y-axis, then x coordinates will be equal to 0, and if x coordinates are equal to 0, then distance will be just y2 minus y1. Okay, so this is all about the distance formula. Now I will be explaining how to divide a line, how to distribute a line. Okay, so that is section formula. First I will explain you what do we mean by sectioning a line, or what we mean by dividing a line in a given ratio. Okay, so now section formula. What do we mean by section formula? Sectioning means that dividing a given line segment. A line segment of a definite length will be given to you. Two endpoints are given, and you have to find out a third point on that line which will be dividing the line in a given ratio. Okay, so what does this mean? Diagrammatically, I will explain. Okay, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. If this is a line P, x1, y1, and Q coordinates are x2, y2. Okay, I have to divide. I am given that divide PQ in the ratio m is to n. Okay, I have to divide PQ in this ratio. That means I have to find out the third point R on the same line. Okay, I have to find out a third point R on the same line segment, and this coordinates, it's, let it be xy, and this should divide it in the ratio m:n. Got? This coordinate is dividing this in the ratio m:n. Okay, now how can we do this? I will make a trick. I will make a line parallel and complete the right triangle here. Okay, complete the right triangle. So what this length is, take it as A. Okay, take it as A. Similarly, I will extend this and make a perpendicular, make a right triangle there also, and take it as B. Okay, what is this? PA is parallel to the x-axis and RA is parallel to y-axis. Similarly, here also RB is parallel to x-axis and QB is parallel to y-axis. Obviously, these angles will be right angles. Okay. Now, in these right angles, what we get? We get in triangle PAR and triangle RBQ. Okay. In these two triangles, you can see that angle A is equal to angle B, that is equal to 90 degree, because as I have proved that angles at these points will be equal to 90 degree. These are right angle. The second thing what I am saying is that PA, as I said, PA is parallel to x-axis. Similarly, also RB is parallel to x-axis. What does this mean? By combining these two, I can say that PA is parallel to RB. Okay, so PA is parallel to RB and PQ is the transversal. Okay, these two are parallel. PQ is the transversal. So I can say angle RPA, that is this angle, will be equal to angle QRB. So these two angles will be equal. If these two angles are, why these two angles are equal? Because they are the corresponding angles. Okay, these are the corresponding angles. Now, if these are the corresponding angles, that means obviously the third angle will also be equal, or we don't have to even prove it, because the sum of all three angles are 180 degree. Okay, so by using this result and by using this result, I can say that triangle PAR is similar to triangle RBQ. Okay, triangle PAR is similar to angle RBQ. Got it? Now, what result I get from this? If this is so, then I can write in similar triangles what happens? ratio of the corresponding side is always same. So I can write PA over RB will be equal to PR over RQ. Okay, and this will be equal to AR over BQ. The ratio will be same. I will take PA and RB. Okay, I will take PA and RB. One is this one, and another I will take PR and RQ. That is first two only. What is PR over RQ? PR over RQ, as I said, this will be the ratio M is to N. So PA over RB is equal to PR over RQ, and that is equal to M is to N. And now what is PA? What is PA now? PA is what? This is x1, this is x, and this is x2. Got? This length, I am talking about this length. This length is x1, this length is x, and this length is x2. Okay, so if I take these two only, so PA is what? PA, this distance will be equal to x minus x1. So x minus x1 divided by RB. Similarly, RB will be x2 minus x. x2 minus x, and this will be equal to m over n. Cross multiply it. When I cross multiply it, what I get? N multiplied by x minus x1 equal to m multiplied by x2 minus x, or nx minus nx1 equal to mx2 minus mx. I will bring x to the left hand side and nx1 to the other side. So what I get? Nx plus mx is equal to mx2 plus nx1. Okay, because on changing the sides, the signs will be changing. Okay, now from this I can write it as m plus n x equal to mx2 plus nx1. Okay, or x will be equal to mx2 plus nx1 divided by m plus n. This is how you can find out the value of x, or the x coordinate of the point you are required to find out. Similarly, if you go on, y coordinate will be coming out to be m y2 plus n y1 divided by m plus n. So this is called the distance formula, or the section formula. This is called the section formula. Okay. See how to correlate, how this has been done. What is x? In the numerator, you have got m multiplied by x2, ratio of this side multiplied by coordinate of other side, plus n multiplied by x1, ratio of this one multiplied by coordinate of this side. Numerator, both are like that only. Here also m, that is m, the coordinate ratio of this side, to y2, and n, y1. So this is how you will be getting the numerator, and denominator is very simple, just m plus n. Okay, denominator is very simple, just n plus n. Okay, now some specific results. This is, you can find out any coordinate, whatever ratio is given, whether it is 3 by 2, whether it is 2 by 3, whether it is 4 by 1, whatever it is, you can find out. Now, some specific results on this. Now, in the specific result, what I want to say is, suppose that given ratio is 1:1. What does it mean? Given ratio is 1:1. What does it mean? That means if I am given a coordinate P, Q, okay, this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2, and there is another point R which is dividing the ratio into 1:1. That means both these parts PR will be equal to RQ, and if PR is equal to RQ, that means R is the midpoint of PQ. R is the midpoint of PQ. How will we find out the midpoint of PQ? Suppose that its coordinates are now xy. Okay, so in that case, what will be x? As I told you, ratio of this side 2 multiplied to the coordinate of other side. So 1 multiplied by x2 plus ratio of other side to the coordinate of first side. So again it is 1 into x1 divided by sum of both ratios. So it is 1 plus 1. So what I get? x1 plus x2 divided by 2. This is how we have to find out the midpoint of a line segment whose endpoints have been given to you. Okay, now the third part of this chapter. Till now, you must have studied about the formula for finding out the area of a triangle. What was that? In the plane geometry section that you have studied in your earlier classes, it was just half of base multiplied by height. Now, in coordinate geometry, what will happen if you are just given the coordinates of the vertices and you are told find out the area of the triangle? Okay, now you don't know what is the height, whichever side you take as a base, you don't know what will be the altitude on that base. If you can know, then only you can find out the area by using the formula of plane geometry. In coordinate geometry, how do we find? Okay, just let me take like this. Suppose that this is a triangle. This is side A, this is B, and this is point C. Triangle ABC is given on your this graph, and whose coordinates are x1, y1 for A, x2, y2 for B, and x3, y3 for C. I have to find out area of this triangle. How? Now I will be using a different way. Like I will draw lines perpendicular on the x-axis like this. Suppose that the perpendicular drawn from A is P, perpendicular drawn from B falls on Q, and the perpendicular drawn from C falls on R. Okay, so clearly all three perpendiculars will be parallel to each other. Okay, an indirect method. Let's take. I have to find out area of triangle. Okay, if I find out area of this complete part, that means area of triangle ABC will be equal to area of your polygon A B Q R C. Okay, A B Q R C, that means the whole part I have taken. Okay, and from this whole part, if I subtract the area of quadrilateral BQRC, that means from this whole part, if I subtract the area, this much area, if I subtract this area from the whole thing, I will get the area of the triangle. Okay, but again, you don't have the formula how to find out this and how to find out this. How will you get? Okay, so this can be divided further into two parts. This can be divided further into two parts. It will be area of like this one and this one. Okay, so it will be equal to area of quadrilateral ABQP plus area of quadrilateral APRC and then minus area of quadrilateral BQRC. See, this was what? The total area I have divided into two parts. If I divide it from here, you get one quadrilateral this side ABQP and one quadrilateral on the other side, that is APRC. Now, both this, let me clear it so that you can understand better. Both these parts are what? See, what is ABQP? ABQP, as I told, all these three perpendiculars are parallel to each other. So in this quadrilateral, two opposite sides are parallel to each other. So it is a trapezium. Okay. Similarly, APRC, again it is also a trapezium. Okay. And BQRC, this is also a trapezium because BQ will be parallel to CR. Okay. So in a trapezium, you see that all three quadrilaterals are trapeziums. And what is area of a trapezium? Just remember the basic formula that you have studied in your plane geometry in previous classes, and it was equal to half of sum of the parallel sides multiplied by distance between them. Okay, this was area of trapezium. I will use the same thing here. Okay, I will be using the same thing here. So what I get by using this? So now area of triangle ABC, what it is coming out? It is area of trapezium, I can say ABQP. In ABQP, it will be half of BQ plus AP, sum of parallel sides. So it is what? BQ plus AP multiplied by distance between them. Now what is the distance between these two parallel lines? That is QP. See, distance between these two lines is QP. Okay, so this is QP plus area of triangle APRC. Okay, APRC will be what? Half of AP plus CR multiplied by distance between them, that is PR, minus area of quadrilateral BQRC, that is half of BQ plus CR multiplied by distance between them is QR. Okay, now I don't think this is needed, so I can rub it out so that I can proceed further. Now you see, half is the common factor in all of them, so I will take it out. Okay, now if half is the common factor, now inside bracket, what is BQ? BQ, it is the distance of this point B from y-axis, from x-axis, so it is what? Y2 plus, what is CR? Sorry, AP, I have to take AP. What is AP? AP is the y coordinate of this, so y plus y1. Okay, multiplied by QP. This QP, what it is now? Obviously it will be x1 minus x2. Okay, so this is what? x1 minus x2. Distance of P from y-axis, or the x coordinate of y-axis, x coordinate of P minus x coordinate of Q. So it is x1 minus x2. Okay, plus, let's come to the second term. In the second term, I have got AP. AP, as I told you, it is x1 plus CR. CR, similar way, the x coordinate, sorry, the y coordinate. It is not x, it is the y coordinate. So it is y1 and this will be y3. Okay. Basically, this is the distance from x-axis, so this is y coordinate multiplied by PR. PR, as I told you, this is now difference between the x coordinates. So x3 minus x1. So it is now x3 minus x1 plus, now BQ. BQ, as I told, what this is? y2 plus CR, that is y3 multiplied by QR. So now this will be x3 minus x2. Okay. The next game is open up brackets and rearrange. Okay. You have to open up the brackets and rearrange. So now I need a bigger space on the board. So I am going to rub out this figure also, so that there could be more space on my board. Okay, so now I will open up the bracket. When I open it up, what I get? x1 by 2 minus x2 by 1. Okay, multiply by 2, and then x1 by 1 minus x2 by 1. Similarly, x3 by 1 minus x1 by 1. Okay, and then x3 by 3 minus x1 by 3. Okay, then there is a minus sign. Be careful. Here we have got a minus sign, so all signs will be reversed now. So what I get is x3 by 2 with a minus sign, x3 by 2, then x2 by 2 minus and minus with a plus sign, so plus x2 by 2, again x3 by 3 with a minus sign and plus sign x2 by 3. Okay, so this is what I get. I will be using selective way now. x1, this term is having x1, okay, and another term I will take x1 by 2 minus x1 by 1. I will arrange like this one with this one. Why I am doing this, that you will be understanding, because I am doing this for some specific purpose or for some specific arrangement. So from these two terms, what I get, I can take half x1 common, you can take, and then it will become y2 minus y1. Okay, okay, but it would be better if I don't take this this one. Instead of this, I will take y3, x1 y3. Okay, so this will become y2 minus y3. Okay, x1 multiplied by y2 minus y3. Okay, now the other thing, plus if I take with x2, if I go with x2, I will take x2 y3 from there with plus sign minus x2 y1. Where it is? x2 y1, it is there. Okay, so now from these two I will take x2 common, and it will become y3 minus y1. Okay, plus I will take x3, then I will take x3 y2. Okay, x3 y1. x3 y1 is what? There it is. From there I will take x3 y1 minus x3 y3 y2, sorry, x3 y2. Where it is? Let's see, it is there, x3 y2. So now there I will write y1 minus y2. What about the other things? x1 y1 and minus x1 y1, I can cancel it out. Similarly, minus x2 y2 and plus x2 y2, this will be cancelled out. And similarly, plus x3 y3 and minus x3 y3, these two will be cancelled out. Rest all I have taken. Okay, so this is your formula. What you get. This is the formula for finding out area of a triangle. Now see why I have rearranged it, or why I have arranged in such a way. See the beauty of this formula, what it is. See, in each term I have taken x coordinate as on outer side of each point respectively. When I start from 1, and in the inside I have got y, y, y everywhere. See, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, is it not easy to remember the formula? It is very easy to remember this formula because, and this I will give you another direct trick how to remember this formula. That direct formula is also called the matrix method, because what is there? You were given points A, B, C. Coordinates were, for A it was x1, y1, for B it was x2, y2, for C it was x3, y3. How I will write it as area equal to half multiplied by a matrix, and I will write x1, y1, 1, x2, y2, 1, x3, y3, 1. Using this method, using this determinant method, matrix, this is also called, this is called determinant. So if using this determinant, I will find out how do we find half inside the bracket, half will be there. First you start with x1. Okay, in the bracket we have considered x1, so leave this row and leave this column. What is remaining? y2, y3. I can reduce this matrix like this: y2, 1, y3, 1. Okay, plus, go on the column. Okay, the next number is x2. Again what I will do, I have to move from up to down, and then if necessary repeat the circulation. Okay, so I have started with x1, so I took y2, y3 like this. Now x2, so I will leave this row and I will leave this column. Now lower to x2 is what? y2, y3, 1. Now finished. I want one more row, so I will start from upper side once again. So y1, 1 plus, now the third one, x3, multiplied by the new determinant x3. Again I will leave this row and this column, so go from there. So y1, y2, so it will be y1, 1, y2, 1. Okay, just remember you have to do it like this. So this will what? Half x1 under bracket y2 multiplied by 1. What it is? Just y2 minus y3 multiplied by 1 plus x2 y3 multiplied by 1 minus y1 multiplied by 1 plus x3 y1 multiplied by 1 minus y2 multiplied by 1. Is it not the same formula that we have derived earlier? So just arrange the coordinates in this determinant and it will be easier for you to go on the formula, and it will be easier for you to go on the formula and find out the value of area of a triangle. A very small concept on this is remaining now. Now, what if area of the triangle comes out to be 0? First, just try to understand what is the meaning of area of triangle being 0. Suppose that this is a triangle. Okay. Just bring this point closer to this line, the base. What will happen? Area will be reduced. Bring more closer, area will be further reduced. And the moment this point comes on this only, then only the area is 0. Whatever, if it is not on this line, if this point is not on this line, if it is away, there will be some area. Be it small, but it will be having some area, positive area. But if the point is on this line, the point comes on this line, and all these points are on the same line. So, when area of triangle is equal to 0, this implies that all 3 points are on same line. Okay, all 3 points are on the same line, or I can say that the points are collinear. Points are collinear. So if you have to prove that the points are collinear, just find out the area, and if the area is coming out to be 0, it can be said that the points are collinear. Okay. Now, before I finish this video, let me tell you one more thing. Whenever you are approaching a question, when you are doing a question or doing a solution in your answer sheet, remember, you are going to appear in the board exams of the CBSE, and marks are there. It is very easy to score. It has been always easier to score 99 or 100 marks in mathematics. So whenever you are appearing, whenever you are attempting a question, just remember one thing. Length of your answer, don't bother. Don't leave an step. Reasons for each step, whatever you are following, it should be written on the right hand side of your step. There should be sufficient space on the right hand side to write the reasons for using this, or whatever operation you are doing, whether you are adding, where you are subtracting, where you are adding or subtracting a common number, where you are multiplying or dividing by a same number, whether you are calculating the square root, or whatever it is, you should write always. Okay, let it be a 3-page answer for one question. Don't worry, because marks are allotted for each and every step, and each points are counted. Remember, your steps should not be left. Never skip the steps, because in books you may have seen that steps are skipped in the solved examples. because they have to save their paper, they have to save the, they have to make a or produce the book at a lower cost, so they are using this. But in exam you have to write each and every step. And the second thing what I want to say, in one step one operation should be done. Never try to do more than one operation in one step, because that is, apart from skipping the step, you are going to get your marks deducted. At the same time, there is a more chances of doing a mistake, because if you are doing more than one step in one, or more than one operations in one step, it is very much chance that you may be committing a mistake. And if it is a mistake, then the whole labor is lost. Okay, so with this I would like one more thing I would like to say, that there are very minute things in solving the equations, or in solving some formulas, or deriving some formulas. Like, you must have been writing or on the left hand side of each step, or the symbol of, like this arrow mark, these should not be left anywhere. The symbols, or the sequence should not be left anywhere. So if you want to score good marks, you have to follow these methods or these precautions, so that you can get very good marks. Next chapter I will be taking on trigonometry. Okay, so till then, before I go, let me say, just if you like this video, if you get this video useful to you, just press the bell icon or press the like button and subscribe to this channel, so that you can get the alerts of my upcoming videos. Okay, so goodbye.